And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk. Back to Kevin and I in the studio.
I guess.
That's coach's fault, though, isn't it, Terry?
Well, I mean,
having a little whose fault is it over illegal bat discussion. At the end of the day, if every kid's using the same bat, the coach knows it.
There's a problem. That's just me. I mean, and
watching, looking at baseball, fun stats. We like to do this. Weird stats of the standings as we go through them. I'll tell you, always my funnest so far this year. The Cincinnati Reds have given up the least number of runs in the National League, and they're dead last in the NL Central. Dead last in the NL Central, and so they are plus 42. The Phillies are in first place, are at plus 30. They'd be first there in run differential.
They are a plus 42. What's the next team in front of them? They're a minus what?
64.
Think of that.
That's a 100-run difference.
Well, that just goes to show you there's something to be said about learning how to win. It's not just about the stats.
Yeah, and that kind of shades into the baseball that we're going to get into in high school in just a second. But North Lincoln did lose a game 9-0 last week, and they're playing in the state championship. So and we talked, Terry. And Ken, I don't know if you were. I don't think you was in here when I did the fuzzy math on it. Well, I think Tom was in here, and I said, we talked about the pitching matchups, who should go what, and I said, well, if the West Lincoln pitcher switched, and the first guy gave up 3 in the second game, and the second guy gave up none in the first game, West Lincoln would have won 2 games to none.
Yeah.
And North Lincoln wouldn't even be here. But Terry said my algebra don't add up, and I was just asking the math major over here if that fuzzy math kind of adds up or not. There are a few qualifiers I got to put on that.
Maybe
fuzzy on that equation.
Fuzzy logic is what I'd say.
Oh no, not fuzzy logic. Well, that could be the case too. Cubs in first in the Central, half game over the Brewers. Talk about how bad the Cardinals is. Listen to this. They had the best record in baseball at 20-10. Since then, they've went 8-18. How about after going 8-18, Ken, they're still in a better position than the team that we just talked about at plus 42 and only 3.5 games out of first.
Yeah, the thing about them,
they're a weekend series in Chicago for being in first place.
Even though they had that bad period of time, somehow they always hang around.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are always hanging around.
Well, I think that's something is Yadier Molina and Terry mentioned in the break that he's out for a while because he just tore some his thumb.
Just put him on the DL. Hurt his thumb.
Not good. I don't know if they get good. It looks like a wild shootout in the Central. First to last is only 5 games. For example, in the West, you got 16 games. East, 13. Over in the American League, you got 19.5, 19.5, and 14.
There you go. Look at that 19.5 back Kansas City Royals. But we got 38 losses. Baltimore got 39. They're on the verge of beating us to 50.
Terry, you're minus 46. And the NL Central minus 64 to get you 500 record in 28-28.
Well, and you talk about catchers. I mean, we haven't had Perez all year. And does he make a difference? He does.
Sure he does.
That is your quarterback, your leader on the field, and we do not have him, and we keep subbing. We got a different guy every night that's trying to catch. But, I mean, it's only amongst 2 guys, but it's not the same.
His catcher, he's kind of like umpiring. It's one of those things, if you had never done it, I don't think you understand how much work and you actually are involved in the game. You're framing pitches, running the defense. There's so much stuff to do catching. Every pitcher is different. Just one pitcher that makes it sink this way or that way might cause your glove at 100 miles per hour, Terry. You got to be able to. That one kid throws 105 for them. That's totally different than change-ups in the dirt or curveballs from Adam Wainwright.
And it's different when you think of a catcher. A catcher will be back here. He knows this guy who steps in there. He knows what he likes, what he does not like. And then you got a pitcher out there who comes out there once every 4 or 5 days rugging you off like, I'm not throwing that one. And then you're like, okay, I'll give you another sign. Then all of a sudden he tattoos that one.
That's a wonderful point about the catchers knowing the other team's batters.
Yes.
Do the outfielders know that
no, they're
looking
the
catchers
at their shoulder pads. What he wants me to move.
The defensive coaches position them out there. I'm sure they talk about that before the game and everything like that. But the catchers knowing stuff I'll tell you a funny little story. about that. I was catching one time, and I knew it was this All-Star tournament. And I knew the kid that we were playing against, played against him so much. I'm like, I know you don't think this, but please listen to me. He can't hit the high pitch. Now everybody knows he can hit it 400 feet, but he can't hit the high pitch. He's got a hole. Don't throw it low. Well, the pitcher pitching didn't throw good fastballs. He threw junk, nothing but curveballs in the dirt. So he was like, I can't do that. I'm like, listen to me, Terry. He bounced the first curveball after he shook off 3 fastballs on the plate, and I kid you not, the kid golfed it out of the park off the one hot plate home run. Before that kid got around second, I was standing behind my pitcher. He turned around and he just said, F you. I said, I told you. I said, I didn't know he was going to golf it, but don't throw the curveball in the dirt. The kid, he just had a class. He just dropped his bat. If you threw it below his knees, he crushed it. And I never in my lifetime think he would do that, but he did. And but that was just, you go out there and listen to your catcher sometimes, you might know a little bit about that. And the pitcher, pitchers are stubborn and think, if you've ever seen Bull Durham, folks, watch that one. I'm going to throw the heat, right, Ken?
Yeah.